Leon Errol, July 3, 1881 – October 12, 1951, was an Australian-born American comedian and actor, popular in the first half of the 20th century for his appearances in vaudeville, on Broadway, and in films. Biography. Born Leon K. Errol Sims in Sydney to Joseph and Elizabeth Sims, Errol had toured Australia, New Zealand and Great Britain and Ireland in a variety of theatrical settings, including circuses, operettas, and Shakespeare. According to his petition for naturalization, 1914, he first came to the United States in 1898, arriving at the port of San Francisco in 1898. By 1905, in Portland, Oregon, he managed a touring vaudeville company troupe, giving an early boost to the career of a young comedian named Roscoe Arbuckle. In 1908, he made the United States his home. By 1911, Errol had graduated to the New York Big Time in the 1911 Ziegfeld Follies on Broadway, notably in two skits with the legendary Burt Williams. Errol's sister, Leda Errol, née Sims, was a personal friend of Ziegfeld Follies star Fanny Brice, and she appeared with him in the Ziegfeld Follies doing one- and two-act plays. He appeared every year in the Follies through 1915, when he is also credited as director of the show that included W. C. Fields, Edwin, as well as Marion Davies as one of the Ziegfeld girls, while balancing vaudeville appearances and a dozen Broadway shows, like the original 1920 production of Jerome Kern's Sally. In 1919, Errol achieved the pinnacle of vaudeville success, headlining at the Palace. Films. Errol made his first film, a comic short subject called Nearly Spliced, in 1916. It was not released before 1921. For pioneering East Coast producer George Kleiner. By 1930 he'd left Broadway and turned his full attention to movies. Third billed for Samuel Goldwyn's One Heavenly Night in 1931. The box office for that film was disappointing, but overall Errol made a smooth transition to films in a variety of comedy roles. His comic trademark was a wobbly, unsteady walk, moving as though on rubber legs. This bit served him well in drunk routines. Errol starred in a long string of two-reel comedy shorts, which began at Columbia Pictures in 1933. He also starred in two early three-strip Technicolor shorts made at Warner Brothers. Service with a Smile, released the 28th of July 1934, and Good Morning, Eve, released August 5. Just beating the RKO Radio Pictures release La Cucaracha, the 31st of August, as the first live-action, wholly Technicolor release, moving to RKO Radio Pictures in 1934. He continued to make 6 shorts per year until his death in 1951. Most of these were marital farces in which Leon would get mixed up with a pretty girl or an involved business proposition, and face the wrath of his wife, usually Dorothy Granger. The theme tune to the series was the nursery rhyme, London Bridge is Falling Down. Leon Errol is well remembered for his energetic performances in the Mexican Spitfire movies, opposite Lupe v. Acute LEZ, 1939–43. In which Errol had the recurring dual role of affable Uncle Matt and foggy British nobleman Lord Epping. Monogram signed Errol to appear as fight manager Nobby Walsh in the 8 entries of their Joe Palooka sports comedies, 1946–50. Leon Errol's most famous non-series appearance is in the nonsensical comedy feature Never Give a Sucker an Even Break, 1941, starring fellow vaudeville and Ziegfeld alumnus W. C. Fields. On February 4, 1950, Errol appeared on television as a guest on The Edwin Show, broadcast live to the West Coast on CBS. Seen on Kinescope Film to the Eastern Midwest on February 18, 1950. Errol's next to last film, Lord Epping Returns in 1951, reprised his famous characterization and some of the gags from Mexican Spitfire. Footage from Errol's short subjects was incorporated into RKO's compilation features Variety Time, Make Mine Laughs, Footlight Varieties, and Merry Mirthquakes. RKO kept Leon Errol in the public eye by reissuing his older comedies through the mid-1950s. His RKO shorts soon became a staple of syndicated television. Errol married Stella Chatelain, born 1886, in Denver, Colorado in 1906. She died on November 7, 1946 in Los Angeles. 5 years later, Errol suffered a fatal heart attack on October 12, 1951, aged 70. They had no children. Partial filmography: Yolanda, 1924. Clothes Make the Pirate, 1925. Paramount on Parade, 1930. Only Sap's Work, 1930. One Heavenly Night, 1931. Her Majesty, Love, 1931. Alice in Wonderland, 1933. Service with a Smile, the 28th of July 1934. And Good Morning, Eve, the 5th of August 1934. Two Warner Brothers shorts that make first use of the three-strip Technicolor process. The Captain Hates the Sea, 1934. We're Not Dressing, 1934. The Notorious Sophie Lang, 1934. Princess O'Hara, 1935. Should Wives Work, 1937. The Girl from Mexico, 1939. Dancing Coed, 1939. Korea, 1939. Mexican Spitfire and 7 other Mexican Spitfire movies with Lupe Velez through 1943. 6 Lessons from Madame La Zonga, 1941. Never Give a Sucker an Even Break, 1941. Moonlight in Hawaii, 1941. Strictly in the Groove, 1942. The Invisible Man's Revenge, 1944. Hat Check Honey, 1944. Mama Loves Papa, 1945. Joe Palooka, Champ, 1946. And 10 other Joe Palooka sequels. Riverboat Rhythm, 1946. The Noose Hangs High, 1948. Joe Palooka in the Big Fight, 1949. Works by or about Leon Errol at Internet Archive. Leon Errol on IMDb. Leon Errol at the Internet Broadway Database. Leon Errol at Find a Grave.